Lights.
Ready.
Sound.
Rolling.
Camera.
Rolling.
Action.
So ma'am, what's your life lesson?
So my life lesson is
Take risk and go ahead.
Patience.
There are no equations in life.
कुछ भी problems आए, don't give up.
I live one day at a time.
it is okay if you are confused.
Simply trust.
Most school walls are laced with quotes, sayings, proverbs of the powerful, influential, rich or famous people in the world. And as a young child, you have little context and maybe no connection to those words. They are just punchlines for you. Teachers, on the other hand, have a productive and a consistent accessibility and approach to the students, but are not necessarily the role models and the heroes of those children. So through the out-of-syllabus project, we aim to document, design and celebrate the wisdom of our own teachers through their life lessons and their stories, so that the students can see the hero in them or the shiro in them in their own narratives. And hopefully that creates a space for learning that necessarily is not in the curriculum.
We started by creating a wisdom club in school. Curated set of students were coached in skills, 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, creativity, filmmaking and journalism. This was a completely student-led project. So interviewing the teachers, documenting their stories, handling the camera, sound, everything was done by students. We were just facilitating the process.
For the first edition of the out-of-syllabus project, we chose Purukul Youth Development Society as our working ground because the school is the perfect representation of what can happen when opportunities are created for those who do not necessarily have the resources to rise up in life. When you can support the ecosystem and when you can build an environment that supports learning of all kinds, you can truly create world citizens and active global voices. Of all the moments of awe one can witness in life, I can tell you there is nothing quite magical as seeing a young, timid, shy girl sit across her own teacher, look or sneak a glance onto her question sheet, and then stare into the eye of her teacher and say, "Now, tell me, what's your life lesson? What have you lived through that I cannot find in my textbooks? What can you teach me that not necessarily is in the modules or the curriculum, yet indispensable for the exam of life?" And I have come to believe in my own journey as an educator that teaching was not about giving students some marks. It was always about creating moments that will help those students discover their own magic. You know, my philosophy in life is when you learn, you become a star, but when you teach, you become a constellation. And this project aims to be the tool to build that constellation. The key aspect that this project stimulates is the creation of a unique database of learning. So that even if the teacher moves on or is no longer in the institution, you still have a repository of their own lessons, things that they brought into the institution as their personality, as an individual, and that carries on to live for generations and generations and classes after classes as long as the student exists. And that's a legacy to leave behind. Now the school has wisdom corridors where whenever a child faces confusion, dilemma, depression, anxiety, or needs to know how to celebrate his glory, he does not need to feel overwhelmed by that emotion. He just needs to take a long walk across his own school corridor and see which teacher's story reflects his emotion and now has access to have a conversation, so that the students can learn something beyond the usual structure and shine so bright that their light becomes someone else's spotlight.